Yes, indeed. So you're gonna have a chance to hear everyone.
All right. Yeah. No, I know. I'm just making sure.
I guess play.
I don't want to play music because then I have to go out again. I'm just like, yeah.
It's 6 o'clock, so we'll start like in
5 minutes.
It's coming through on the YouTube, so that's good.
Perfect.
Oh, it is. It's up.
Yay.
Let me see, because I just shared it. I guess everybody decided to watch from home.
I mean, okay, crowd.
Yeah, we'll start like in 5 minutes. Is that good?
Yeah.
Let me just put the link up.
Hey, how are you? Good. Welcome.
Brian.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, I know. Hey, David.
Just know that I'm here for Joan Nestle and all those dead people.
She died.
She's not dead.
Oh,
She's not dead. She's on Facebook all the time. Have a look.
I thought you just.
Well, there's lots who are dead.
Yes.
And she can't be here. But she'd love to be here.
Yeah.
Australia is good for national health.
Can't get worse than here.
Nice beaches.
It still has a barrier reef for now.
That's the bad. Just wanted you to know.
Global audience.
That's right.
I can't imagine how you keep track of it. Yeah. Well, if I don't die before the big event here. Yeah, it is. Well, I'll show up with that.
I almost found my own script.
Oh, no. Don't do that.
Sorry, 2 minutes. It is what it is.
Yes. So after the video plays, do you want me to go to the next slide while Rob is
Yes.
doing and leave that up while you're
Yes.
talking? Cool.
Because otherwise it's going to be
The video. Yeah.
and hopefully it'll work. Of course, now it won't.
Don't say that.
You just go like one.
No jinxing. Shall we?
Hello. Hey, there we go. Imagine that. All right, folks, we are about to get started. Okay, welcome everyone to OUTspoken, tribute to Nikki Giovanni. Give it up. And this tribute is being co-presented by the Publishing Triangle and the Bureau of General Services Queer Division. So my name is Greg Newton. I am the co-founder, along with my partner, Nikki Giovanni, of the Bureau of General Services Queer Division, which is the independent queer bookstore upstairs on the second floor in room 210. The Bureau has been in existence since 2012. We've been here at the LGBT Community Center since 2014. We want to give a big thank you to the LGBT Community Center because we would not continue existing without it. And yes. We also want to thank the center for letting us use this larger room so we can accommodate more people for tonight's event. So the Bureau is regularly open Wednesdays through Sundays from 1 to 7 p.m. We often stay open later for events. And if you're not already on our email list, you can sign up for that at the back where Donnie is selling books. And you'll get an email every other Monday about our many upcoming events. You can also go to our website to sign up for that same newsletter, and that's bgsu.com. I think that's it from me. I just wanted to read a land acknowledgement before we get started, and then we're going to play a short video of Nikki Giovanni reading. So the Bureau acknowledges that our organization operates on the unceded land of the Munsee Lenape. We encourage you to join the Bureau in signing up to make a monthly donation to the American Indian Community Houses Mannahatta Fund. The Mannahatta Fund, according to its website, is an invitation to all settlers and non-native people who wish to acknowledge the legacy of theft and genocide that comprise the history of New York City and the United States. And you can find out more at mannahattafund.org. So now we're going to play a brief video of Nikki Giovanni reading Revolutionary Dreams, and then we're going to turn it over to Rob Burns from the Publishing Triangle.
if you make enough stand and swing in a song. I used to dream, militant dreams, of taking over America to show these white folks how it should be done. I used to dream radical dreams of blowing everyone away with my perceptive powers of correct analysis. I even used to think I'd be the one to stop the riot and negotiate the peace. Then I awoke and learned that if I dreamed natural dreams of being a natural woman, doing what a woman does when she is natural, I would have a revolution.
In the big room tonight. Good evening, everyone. Sound right?
Yes.
Okay. Good evening. Welcome. My name is Rob Burns. I'm with the Publishing Triangle, and it's an honor to have you here tonight for a special presentation of our monthly OUTspoken reading series, which we present upstairs, normally we present upstairs at the Bureau Bookstore. Tonight we'll celebrate the iconic Nikki Giovanni, her remarkable contributions to poetry and her enduring legacy. Each of our featured readers will be sharing not only one of their favorite poems by Nikki Giovanni, but also some of their own poetry inspired by her incredible words. We're also thrilled to have a special drag story time presentation featuring a reading from one of Nikki's children's books, a beautiful nod to her unwavering belief in the power of representation and storytelling for all ages. Before we get started, I want to let you know that copies of the collected poetry of Nikki Giovanni and books by tonight's featured readers are available for sale in the back. Donnie's back there, he's ready to take them on. Be sure to take a look. Take a look too. Be sure to take a look and support these incredible writers. I'd also like to take a moment to encourage you to consider becoming a member of the Publishing Triangle. Membership is just $40 per year, and it helps us continue to stage our free monthly OUTspoken reading series, as well as our annual awards, the award ceremony, and the award ceremony reception, all of which, by the way, are free. And your support makes events like tonight possible and helps us uplift and celebrate queer voices year-round. We are in for an unforgettable evening. To kick things off, I'm thrilled to introduce our first reader, who will also serve as your host for the remainder of the program. Please join me in giving a warm welcome to your host, my friend, Emmanuel Xavier.
Hello, hello, hello.
Hello.
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Well, I have a whole script here for you. So. It says, good evening, everyone, and welcome. Thank you all for being here tonight, whether you've joined us in person or are tuning in online for this very special tribute to the incomparable Nikki Giovanni. I want to start by expressing my deepest gratitude to the Publishing Triangle, the Bureau of General Services Queer Division, the LGBT Community Center, and our tech assistant, Jim Lopesso, for making tonight possible. The dedication to celebrating queer voices and fostering spaces like this is truly invaluable, especially in the current political situation. A heartfelt thank you also goes out to our incredible lineup of featured readers tonight. Your talent and passion are what make evenings like this unforgettable. And of course, thanks to each and every one of you for showing up, for Nikki, for poetry, and for the powerful connections we find through words. Nikki Giovanni's impact on poetry and activism cannot be overstated. As an openly out lesbian Black poet, she paved the way for so many of us who have sought to embrace our authentic voices. She's spoken boldly and unapologetically about love, struggle, liberation, and joy. Through her work, she's shown us how poetry can be a catalyst for change and a means for survival. Nikki's words have inspired generations to dream, fight, love, and live fully. As part of tonight's tribute, I want to share an excerpt from a memoir I am working on. I first met Nikki Giovanni during taping of Russell Simmons Presents Deaf Poetry back in the early 2000s, which remains one of my most unforgettable experiences. So here's an excerpt. Speaking of star-studded moments, backstage was a glittery adventure unto itself. That's when I met her, a cute little thing who had a sharp, chic look down to a tailor-made suit like a poet's version of an icon. Clearly, the room knew her like she was royalty, but we both shared one very important thing that made us instantly connected. We started chatting as if we were soul sisters, straight off the piers of the West Side Highway. The kind of recognition that's like seeing a distant cousin at a family reunion and instantly catching up on all the drama and gossip. Maybe in hindsight, it was a blessing. I had no idea who she was in that moment. If I had, I probably would have been so starstruck, I would have tripped over my own words, dropped my poems, and maybe even fainted. Instead, there we were, two queer poets of color bouncing nerves off each other backstage, struggling to find comfort in the madness that was about to unfold. It was a bond we shared, one based on raw vulnerability as much as mutual respect. It was a quiet, beautiful, honest moment of, hey, we got this. Right before the spotlight was going to turn on. No fanfare, no wild idolization, just two poets trying to pull off the most sacred art they could. Years later, when I first learned that Nikki Giovanni, the legendary poet whose words shaped movements and generations, was teaching my poem, Americano, to one of her classes at Virginia Tech, it hit me like a quiet miracle. Nikki Giovanni, a beacon of Black arts and one of America's greatest literary figures, had chosen something I wrote, something born of my experiences, my bruises, my dreams, to share with her students. Americano wasn't written for praise. It was born out of the weight of being Latino, queer, and unapologetically seen in a world that often looked away. Nikki didn't look away. She embraced the rawness, and in doing so, she gave it a seat at her table. And now, in honor of Nikki Giovanni and as a heartfelt thank you for sharing my words with her students, I'm going to share my poem, Americano. But before I do, throughout the years, many of you here have perhaps heard me read this poem. However, tonight we share a special guest, when I was first starting out at a lot of events here at the LGBT Center, it had been a safe haven during the time I was a homeless teen. I'd often perform with my friend, percussionist Joyce Jones. She is here with us tonight, so please give it up for the lovely Joyce. I look at myself in the mirror, trying to figure out what makes me an American. I see Ecuador and Puerto Rico. I see Bruja spirits moving across the backs of santeros, splattered with the red blood of sacrificed chickens on the virgin white clothes and blue weeds for Yemaya, practicing religions without a roof. I see my own blood running the white sheets of a stranger, proud American Fuji labels on the side of the bed. I see Don Rosario and his guayabera sitting outside the bodega with his Puerto Rican flag, getting time in the eyes of alley cats. I see my mother trying to be more like Marilyn Monroe than Julia de Burgos. I see myself trying to be more like James Dean than Federico Garcia Lorca. I see Carlos Santana, Gloria Estefan, Ricky Martin, and Jennifer Lopez more than just sporadic loud explosions, more like fireworks on the 4 de Julio, as American as Bruce Springsteen, Janis Joplin, Elvis Presley, and Aretha Franklin. I see Taco Bells and chicken fajitas at McDonald's. I see red, orange, yellow, green, blue, and purple. I see Cheetah Rivera on Broadway. You see, I am as American as lemon merengue pie, as American as Wonder Woman's panties, as American as Madonna's bra, as American as the Quinceañeros, the Abduls, the Lees, the Jacksons, the Kennedys, mostly all of us immigrants to the soil, since none sound American Indian to me. As American as television knows that the anthem is played, and I am not ashamed. Oh, say, can you see? I pledge allegiance country to me, land of dreams and opportunity, land of proprietary names and commercialism, land of corporations. If I can win gold medals at the Olympics, if I can sign my life away to die for the United States, ain't no small town hick or president-elect gonna tell me I ain't an American, because I can speak in 2 languages. Going up that way, fuck you. This is my country too, where those who not believe in freedom and diversity are the ones who need to get the hell out. Before I read this next poem, I want to take a moment to reflect on Nikki Giovanni's brilliance in capturing the complexity of the human experience. Her poem, Choices, where I say it a lot myself, is a powerful reminder that even when life limits us, we still have agency, strength, and resilience. It speaks to the heart of what it means to persevere, to adapt, and to find purpose, even in the face of challenges. It's my honor to share Choices with you tonight by Nikki Giovanni. If I can't do what I want to do, then my job is to not do what I don't want to do. It's not the same thing, but it's the best I can do. If I can't have what I want, then my job is to want what I've got and be satisfied. That at least there is something more to want. Since I can't go where I need to go, then I must go where the signs point. The always understanding parallel movement isn't lateral. When I can't express what I really feel, I practice feeling what I can't express. And none of it is equal, I know. But that's why mankind, alone among the animals, learns to cry. Now it's my honor to introduce our first feature for the evening, J.P. Howard. J.P. Howard. J.P. Howard is a powerhouse in the literary world, a poet, educator, curator, and literary activist who has left an indelible mark on the community. Her debut poetry collection, Say Mirror, was a Lambda Literary finalist, a testament to her incredible talent and voice, and is available for sale tonight. In addition to her own creative work, JP curates the Women Writers in Bloom Poetry Saloon, an extraordinary space that fosters creativity and connection among women writers. Please join me in giving a warm welcome to JP Howard.
Thank you, Manny, for the beautiful introduction. So wonderful to be here. I just want to say thank you to the Center, to the Bureau, to the Publishing Triangle. I love the OUTspoken series, reading series, so I'm grateful to be a part of it once again. I'm going to start with a Nikki Giovanni poem, but before I do, just a few words about Nikki. I discovered her when I was in elementary school. I grew up in Sugar Hill, Harlem, and she actually is referenced in my book, so later on I'm going to read a poem that references her. I remember being in elementary school, going to the Hamilton Grange Library and discovering the Black Poet section, and she was one of the poets I discovered and loved. And, you know, it was a childhood that had various, issues, struggles, as we all do, so I feel like her poems somehow saved me. So let's start with ego tripping. You all Let's go. Ego tripping. There may be a reason why. I was born in the Congo. I walked to the Fertile Crescent and built the Sphinx. I designed a pyramid so tough that a star that only glows every 100 years falls into the center, giving divine, perfect light. I am bad. I sat on the throne, drinking nectar with Allah. I got hot and sent an ice age to Europe to cool my thirst. My oldest daughter is Nefertiti. The tears from my birth pains created the Nile. I am a beautiful woman. I gazed on the forest and burned out the Sahara Desert with a packet of goat's meat and a change of clothes. I crossed it in 2 hours. I am a gazelle so swift, you can't catch me. For a birthday present, when he was 3, I gave my son Hannibal an elephant. He gave me Rome for Mother's Day. My strength flows ever on. My son Noah built Newark, and I stood proudly at the helm. As we sailed on a soft summer day, I turned myself into myself and was Jesus. Men intone my loving name. All praises, I am the one who would save. I sow diamonds in my backyard. My bowels deliver uranium. The filings of my fingernails are semi-precious jewels. On a trip north, I caught a cold and blew my nose, giving oil to the Arab world. I am so hip, even my errors are correct. I sailed west to reach east and had to round off the earth as I went. The hair from my head thinned and gold was laid across 3 continents. I am so perfect, so ethereal, so surreal. I cannot be comprehended except by permission. I mean, I can fly like a bird in the sky. Thank you for that poem. So this poem is one from my book that I mentioned when I was a kid and I discovered poetry. On falling in love with words my first time. It was hot outside and the sweat tickled my neck as I walked into Hamilton Grange Library at the tip of 145th in Amsterdam, only steps from PS 186 and 4 blocks from my apartment. Pushing hard on the big black doors, I was scared of the cool silence that welcomed me once they opened, and I thought about running back into the hot sun, but I didn't want to go back home, not to mama, not yet. Walking down the rows, the quiet excited me. I stopped at the section titled Black Poets, pulled down some books from their shelves, and picked a corner table. And Amiri, Nikki, June, Langston, Ntozake, and Lucille welcomed me into their world. They used curse words I wasn't allowed to use, but I understood each one. And I liked how it felt when I whispered them under my breath, just loud enough for only me to hear. They wrote about secrets, gave names to their fears, allowed silence to speak her voice, and made me feel alive. I still don't know how many hours I stayed there, but the sun had set by the time I left, caught up in the words placed on a page, which tickled my tongue, made me cry, gave me strength to go home again and again to mama and her sorrow. My wife and I are proud to raise 2 beautiful black boys who are now young black men for them. In this house, we raise our voices. We are raising up black boys in this house. In this house, some days our voices stay raised high. Other nights, we are soft whispers. Black boys are becoming black men in this house. In this house, black boys blossom, black boys bloom, black boys cry or laugh, black boys be brilliant in this house. This is a black boy's house, filled with love. We don't let fear enter this house. We know fear intimately, but we don't let it enter these doors. This is a safe house for black boys becoming black men. This is a safe house for black men who were once black boys. This is our house, and these are our sons. My last poem, and I want to give a shout out to Samia because they found a home in Poetry Magazine this past summer. Thanks to her. This is a poem for anyone in the room who thinks about the future, and if you couldn't remember yourself, what kind of love note, what kind of love poem would you write? Dear future self, if I should ever forget you, this is my love note to you. You were loved. You were somebody's lover. You were loving. You held parts of all the women you loved, somewhere deep in your generous heart. You were heartbroken. You were a heartbreaker too, girl. Sometimes you were heartache. Your heart never grew heavy though. I remember that about you. You were silly, you were giggles, you were somebody's mama. You always wanted to be a mama. Mama was the greatest title you ever had. You were jealous as fuck, You were selfish, you were sad, you helped other folks' sadness, especially mama's sadness. You buried that deep in our heart. You were swag, girl. Leo, charm, and confidence. Could nobody crack you up as much as yourself. You were cute and you were vain. You wore lipstick under your mask during the pandemic because you were cute and you were vain. You loved your family. Your lover loved you for decades. Sometimes you would ask yourself, how I get so lucky, girl? You loved people. You were at home on the stage, at a mic, in front of a mic, sitting with community in a circle, or talking one-on-one with a friend for hours on end in a coffee shop. You were a poet. You are a poet. This is your love poem to yourself, Juliet. Thank you.
Thank you, JP. Now it's my pleasure to introduce our second feature for the evening, Reginald Harris.
Yeah.
We see you. Reginald is an exceptional poet whose work has earned widespread recognition. He has been a finalist for both the Lambda Literary Award and the Griet Stadler Prize, and was the winner of the prestigious 2012 Cape Canaveral Northwestern University Press Poetry Prize for his collection Autogeography, also available for sale today. His poetry has appeared in numerous journals, anthologies, and online publications, showcasing the depth and brilliance of his craft. Born in Annapolis, Maryland, and raised in Baltimore, Reginald now called Brooklyn home. Please join me in welcoming Reginald Harris.
Thank you. Got no idea who you were talking about. I want to thank you, Manny, for inviting me. Thank the Bureau, and thank the Center for allowing us to use this room. I was just remembering my memory of this room was dancing to Frankie Knuckles. Right over there. And so standing at the DJ, what is he doing? What's he has a list? What is that? So it was great. So thank you. This room means a lot to me. Thank you to our tech, and it's a real honor to be part of this tribute to Nikki and with these readers. Although I do have to say, the real thrill is being here with Harmonica Sunday. I shall be brief. For me, it feels really strange to be asked to read a Nikki Giovanni poem. I mean, no one could gift you with a poem the way she could. I was just saying to somebody else, go to YouTube. Go to YouTube. It's amazing. But despite that, I will read her poem, My House, from the book, My House. If I haven't messed up the pages. Okay. Sorry. Talk among yourself. My house. I only want to be there to kiss you as you want to be kissed, when you need to be kissed, where I want to kiss you, because it's my house and I plan to live in it. I really need to hug you when I want to hug you, as you like to hug me. Does it sound like a silly poem? I mean, it's my house, and I want to fry pork chops and baked sweet potatoes and call them yams, because I run the kitchen and I can stand the heat. I spent all winter in carpet stores gathering patches so I could make a quilt. Does this really sound like a silly poem? I mean, I want to keep you warm. And my windows might be dirty, but it's my house. And if I can't see out, they can't see in either. English isn't a good language to express emotion through. Mostly, I imagine, because people try to speak English instead of trying to speak through it. I don't know, maybe it is a silly poem. I'm trying to say it's my house, And I'll make fudge and call it love and touch my lips to the chocolate warmth and smile at old men and call it revolution because it's real and is really real, because what's real is really real. And I still like men in tight pants because everybody has something to give and you need something to take. And this is my house and you make me happy. So this is your poem. I want to, before reading a poem of my own, I need to make a brief confession and apology. When I was younger and dumber than I am now, somehow I didn't quite get other people's love for Nikki Giovanni's poem. They felt too easy to be too facile. I assumed that poetry should be harder, more difficult, make you work. It's not that I didn't get Lucille Clifton, Audre Lorde, Essex Campbell. I wasn't against, plain spoken, direct verse. It's just that somehow I didn't quite get Nikki. Along with everyone else, of course, I liked ego tripping, Nikki Rosa, which we're going to hear in a second, My House, and others. But the work was too relaxed, too vernacular, too easy poems that you were introduced to in school. When you were little. Poems you think you'll outgrow, yet somehow you never forget them. Partly because of that, Nikki was also too popular, as if that was a bad thing. I really think that's not a bad thing now that I'm writing. And not serious, a serious poet whose work you should bring up to impress others and show off all that fancy education, those school scholarships, and your family paid for. Nikki's readings were also more public appearances than readings. She was full of anecdotes, told stories, had memories, commentated on current events. What is she doing, I thought? Get to the poems. When she did get to the poems, she was conversational about them. Often it was hard to tell when and where the talking ended and the poem began, or the other way around. And how dare she ask, is this a silly poem in the middle of a poem? What changed in my understanding of Nikki Giovanni was not her or her poetry, of course, but me. I discovered how hard it is to make it look easy, how difficult it is to sound ordinary on paper. I learned the hard way all of the effort that goes behind being effortless. I came to respect the Black Arts Movement's goal of reaching the people, everyday Black folks. Once I heard Gwendolyn Brooks mention how she and others would go into neighborhood bars and suddenly announce, hey, we're gonna lay some poetry on you. I have no idea how that went over. There's some places I know she shouldn't have gone. Anyway, she also said that other poets went first to soften them up before she read her own work. I fell in love with the beauty of the mundane world, quote unquote, the way real people talk, and the ordinary yet extraordinary metaphors. Nikki's work is beautiful, blunt, subtle, seductive, funny, empowering, and serious, but not serious. She wore her gravitas lightly. There are few thoughts more perfectly radical and political than Black joy is Black love. And although we are here to celebrate her as one of our Black lesbian elders and forebears, by the way, I think she dressed like Ellen DeGeneres before. There's a little appropriation here, but anyway. I'm trying to remember when she actually came out, or if she ever came out. I really don't know. I do remember is that once when she was about to appear at the library in Baltimore years ago, someone asked, "Oh, is Virginia coming too?"
Yes.
And they got the eye roll, the side eye, and of course she's coming. As if, what are you stupid? For an answer. finally, Nikki came up with a description of something that I've been groping at for years when trying to describe my own relationship. She called Virginia Fowler her bench, the person who will always have her back. Quote, everybody needs a bench, she said, and in order to get a bench, you have to be one. I could say love, but you get tired of hearing about love. So, thank you, Nikki. And my bad that it took so long for me to get it, but I get it. The poem I want to read is relatively new, and although Nikki does have a poem with a similar title, it's not really after that. And since Anita is here, I'll say, because you said this a couple of times recently, right after Christmas, I wrote it before you said that too. So there was a little smirk on my face, like, oh yeah. All right. All I have to do is say black and diamonds, which is easy. I mean, just look. Here I am, still one of Ellen's black children, according to elder members on that side of my family. Hi, family. The world reminds me that I'm black every day with furtive and not so furtive glances, stares, empty seats beside me. Thank you. Inhaled breath, hardened looks, feigned indifference, women too fearfully apologetic with, I'm sorry, after bumping into me, men too brusquely dismissive with, sorry, after bumping into me, if they say anything at all, or just plain not seeing me when I pass by. The chin up, the head nod, the softly spoken what's up is proof of my blackness. Or when people who look like me look at me as if I were everything that they too have heard about people who look like me is true of me, but not of them, I could go. As for death, no need to explain that how easy that is to Trayvon, to George, Brianna, Eric, Takia outside Kroger's, Sonia and her lethal pot of water, dear sweet Elijah, or even Eleanor Bumpers or Henry Dumas. I could go on. I could go back further. I could go back even further. I could go on. I could go on forever.
Thank you, Reginald. Before I share this, I just want to say how important events like these are, because I know, Reggie, you were just talking before the event started to a woman who came up with her child and, didn't even know who Nikki Giovanni was, and so it's important for us to keep doing what we're doing, because in keeping our memories alive, because we need future generations to know who Nikki Giovanni was. So thank you for honoring Nikki in such a powerful way. And now it's my pleasure to introduce our next speaker for the evening, Cheryl Boyce Taylor. Before I tell you more about her, I want to draw your attention to the image of the screen. I snatched this from her social media because I absolutely love the way Nikki is watching Cheryl as she speaks. It's such a testament to the admiration and connection we all feel toward Nikki Giovanni. Cheryl is an extraordinary poet and the author of 7 collections of poetry, including Mama Fife Presents, a verse memoir about the life of her son, hip-hop legend Malik Fife Dog. Her most recent collection, The Limitless Heart, available for sale here tonight, won the 2024 Firecracker Award for Poetry, further solidifying her place as one of the great voices of our time. Cheryl is also a graduate of the Stone Coast MFA program, bringing her love of poetry and storytelling to every page she writes. Please join me in giving a very warm welcome to one of the first openly queer poets of color that inspired me to become a writer, Cheryl Boyce Taylor.
everyone.
Hello.
After Manny read, I turned to my friend and I said, he was always a badass like that. As a little kid, I'm sorry. So I'm really pleased to be here. And I want to say that I met Nikki Giovanni when I was 22. And I went to see, she read around a lot, but I went to see her at Queens College. And I took my son with me. He was at that time 3 years old. And I knew I wanted to be a poet, but I wasn't exactly sure what they did. I know they performed because that's what my mother did. So anyway, I saw her, I introduced myself, and I started going to different readings because she was a professor at Queens at the time, I believe. And many years later, I was at a reading, and then I felt someone touching me in my back. I turned around, she said, I came to see what you did with yourself. So she's magical. And thank you for being here. Thank you for inviting me to, I have to write down everything these days. I'd like to thank the Publishing Triangle, the center, my dear friend, Manny, and my fellow poets, and everyone that's here tonight. Thank you for coming out. Okay, so I'm gonna start with Nikki Rosa. That is my favorite, or as they would say, favorite of Nikki Giovanni, because her work reminded me of my life so much, and this one certainly did. Nikki Rosa. Childhood remembrances are always a drag if you're Black. You always remember things like living in Woodlawn with no inside toilet. And if you become famous or something, they never talk about how happy you were to have your mother all to yourself, and how good the water felt when you got your bath from one of those big tubs that folk in Chicago barbecue in. And somehow, when you talk about home, it never gets across how much you understood their feelings as the whole family attended meetings about Holidale. And even though you remember your biographers never understand your father's pain as he sells his stock and another dream goes. And though you're poor, it isn't poverty that concerns you. And though they fought a lot, it isn't your father's drinking that makes any difference, but only that everybody is together. And you and your sister have happy birthdays and very good Christmases, and I really hope no white person ever has cause to write about me. Because they never understand. Black love is Black wealth. And they'll probably talk about my hard childhood and never understand that all the while I was quite happy. The next piece, I also have to thank Samir Bashir because it ended up in poetry last summer. And I love my mother the way Nikki loved her mother. So this one is called Notice. Notice my mother. Look at her fly coat. Look at her, look at her. Maple leaves turn magenta when she walks by. There's envy in the stars tonight. My mother passed, and they fought about who was prettier, she or the moon. Who deserved to polish Orion's belt? Who should swim the black river of her hair? Then the shy paper of her hands traced the path for hummingbirds to saunter. Her painted lips held swollen questions. questions more rageful than returning refugees, more righteous than stars, questions more beautiful than the revolution we have been preparing. I want to share one more piece, and it's called the First Amendment Rights. And it's a conversation that I had with my aunt when she was 100. She passed away last August when she was 104. And she was quick and smart and had everything together. First Amendment rights. We women stood strong in our madness. In the face of wooden bats, billy clubs, hoses, guns. In the face of a world that was not ours, did not want us. A world of dirty, twisted money and lies. Toss the worms from trees, burn curtains in windows, let the bodies spark. They let the bodies spark. Throats scissored open, 1964, 1965, 1967, late into that summer, we marched for women's rights. We marched for mothers. We were women married to our rage against the mad acrobats, trying to displace us, trying to eject us. But this was our home, our bodies, our children, our home. We marched long into our aging, gray hair shining. We marched, our feet covered in blood. Hangers tore us open, still we marched. 1962, 1968, 1960, questions of the body. We lit our world on fire, had our illegitimate babies. No father named on the birth certificate. That's right. We collected food stamps and Project Cheese, built cradles and tables and chairs, head thrown back. We were defiant in our righteousness. Our bodies steamed earth. Rage became our first self. We marched arm in arm, in arm, in arm. I just remembered one thing. I found this poem of Nikki Giovanni that week that she died. I went to Poet's House. I had never heard this poem before. It's one of my favorites now. I take MasterCard. Charge your love to me.
That's a little change of scenery. Cheryl, it's such a pleasure to see you. I mean, the last time we saw you, we were watching the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame induction. You were up on stage, and I was like, there's Cheryl. And now, for a special treat, we all know Nikki Giovanni as a trailblazing poet and activist who fought tirelessly for equality and representation. But what many might not know is that Nikki also explored the world of children's literature, writing stories that reflect her belief in the importance of empowering young minds. Now, more than ever, as books are being banned and our trans and drag communities are under attack, it's crucial for us to keep fighting and celebrating the joy and visibility that storytelling brings. Our next feature is someone who embodies that spirit of resilience and joy. Harmonica Sunbeam, the comedy queen. For over 32 years, Harmonica has been delighting audiences at nightclubs, cabarets, fundraising events, and yes, even supermarket openings throughout the United States. She is also the North Jersey coordinator of Drag Queen Story Hour, and since its inception in the New York area, Miss Sunbeam has been featured in the New York Times and interviewed for now viral video on BuzzFeed. Tonight, Harmonica will be reading from Nikki Giovanni's The Library, a wonderful children's book that reflects Nikki's love for books, learning, and storytelling. And don't forget, copies of The Library are available for purchase tonight in the back. Please give a warm welcome to my longtime sister, who's also going to be performing at the Eagle tonight.
Party, right?
Yeah.
All right, happy Black History Month, y'all.
Yes.
How we doing today?
Excellent.
All right, turn to your neighbor and say, it's good to see you here. Turn to your other neighbor and say, I don't know you, but it's good to see you too. Well, as Emmanuel said, I'd like to thank Emmanuel for inviting me here. I've been here before. I am a part of Drag Story Hour NYC. How many people have been to Drag Story Hour before, seen it online? Okay, awesome. Drag Story Hour is where drag artists, we were initially called Drag Queen Story Hour, but we wanted to be more inclusive because we have individuals that don't identify as queens, because we have drag kings, drag things, and drag creatures. So we are Drag Story Hour NYC, and we go into libraries and bookstores and festivals, and we read to children, and we also do adult events as well to promote literacy, to show children positive LGBTQ+ role models, to make them feel more comfortable with themselves, that they feel different, and for them to be more accepting of others who are different as well. All right, and so we've done some readings here. We did a really big one, maybe it was 2 years ago with Letitia James. It was this big old scandal upstairs. And inside was beautiful, outside was a shit show.
What's the story? Tell us what's going on. What happened?
Well, we had a bunch of protesters outside who did not want to see it happening, but whenever we have protesters, we always have wonderful counter-protesters there to show their support and love, and that's what we do. If you'd like to give Drag Story Hour NYC a follow, you can do that on Instagram under Drag Story NYC. If you'd like to give me a follow, I'll be walking to the A train after the event. I don't have a poem to read my own, so I'm going to be reading, like, you know, you want me to use the mic?
I think you sound fine.
Yeah. For the live stream. For the live stream. Okay, all right, okay. So, all right. So, okay, all right. Well, yeah, I was supposed to sit down and stuff like that, but, you know, I said, listen, I want to talk to the people and stuff. I'm sorry, it's for the live stream. Can you hear me now, live stream?
Yes.
So, I will be reading this book from Nikki Giovanni, and since, like I said, since I don't have any poems myself, I'm not a poet, but I am inspired after doing Drag Story Hour since 2016. I will be coming out with my very own children's book. I started writing it in 2013. I'm on page 2. It takes a while. All right, here we go, people.
never touch them. All right. A library. Raise your hand if you have your library card. After breakfast on Monday, grandmother washes the sheets and pillowcases. I wash the dishes. I help her hang the sheets outside and watch the wind gently blow them. Grandmother takes her sit down and asks me, "Aren't you going to return those books?" I hurry up Muldowney Street, all the way to Vine Avenue to the Carnegie Library. A library is a place to be free, to be in space, to be a cook, to be a crook, to be in love, to be unhappy, to be quick and smart, to be contained and cautious, to surf the rainbow, to sail the dreams, to be blue, to be jazz, to be wonderful, to be you, a place to be, yeah, to be. I go home and help fold the sheets and peel the carrots and potatoes and onions. And go sit on the back porch, covering my toes with a quilt and read. To be another me. Yeah. Thank you.
Give it up for Harmonica Sunbeam. Thank you, Joyce, for your help. How's everybody doing tonight?
Excellent.
I hope you're all feeling inspired and uplifted by these incredible talents that we've had so far. Nights like this remind us of the power of the words to connect, heal, and celebrate the legacy of voices like Nikki Giovanni. Our next feature is another extraordinary voice in poetry, Samia Bashir. Learning a lot tonight. Samia is the author of 3 powerful poetry collections, including Field Theory, which won the Oregon Book Award and is available tonight for purchase. Her 4th collection, I Hope This Helps, is forthcoming from Night Boat Books. And we can't wait to see what brilliance she brings to the page next. In addition to her own creative work, Samia is a sought-after editor and currently serves as the June Jordan Visiting Scholar at Columbia University, continuing the tradition of nurturing and uplifting diverse voices in literature. Please give a warm welcome to Samia Bashir.
always choose to be the person running rather than the mob chasing. I would prefer to be the person laughed at rather than the teenagers laughing. I always admired the men and women who sat down for their rights and held in disdain the men and women who spat on them. Everyone deserves a sanctuary, a place to go where you are safe. Art offers sanctuary to everyone willing to open their hearts as well as their eyes. That's our sanctuary in the kitchen. Thank you everyone for this beautiful evening. Thank you, Manuel. Thank you all the readers. Everybody needs this thing. I had the distinct, pleasure is not the word, like life-altering cybernetical experience of interviewing Nikki when this book, Closing the Black Eyed Peas, came out. This is 2002, so 22-some years ago, just crazy. And to this day, I'll never forget that hot, it was like a hot August day. And we were both like sweltering, and both black. And I was just like, oh my gosh, she's coming to New York. I was like, she's running, you know, somebody like doing something. And she just, I had met her before in those ways where you go to readings and you're like, but like the conversation, like I'm still not over it. And it was 22-some years ago. This book, Quilting the Black Eyed Peas, Poems and Not Quite Poems, is so interesting. It makes me really feel the lineage between that and this book that I've got coming out, Poems and Not Quite Poems. I hadn't thought about it that way. But this is the conversation that we get to have and continue to have. One of the things she said that in this interview, I used to run this magazine called Black Issues Book Review. And it was important in the early 2000s that we were still trying to get people to publish our work with Black, which was just not happening. And then we got to get this big book out. And it was different too, which was really critical. This idea of this is who you are, Nikki Giovanni, this is what you do, this is how you write, this is how you sound. She was like, or what if I put this with completely and tell you what I do? But one of the things, the romantic ideas, is to excerpt from that interview. The devastating realities of murder and the struggle have been replaced with the physical and economic realities of declining health and survival. What I'm struggling with, says Giovanni, is not want to die unexpected. What is known death? What I'm struggling with is known death. A generation is probably not going to die unexpectedly. The cops are probably not going to shoot us now. She admits right. But we've got cancers and strokes and stresses. A generation that has weathered a terrible storm is now having to make that other connection. We're not as viral with diabetes or with stroke or with blindness, she says, of the radicals and artists that came of age during the Black Liberation era. We never prepared ourselves to be old. We'd only known we were willing to die for this dream. I want to share a piece from Quilting Black Eyed Peas. And really, this book is where she really starts getting cosmic, and just like out of this world in a way that picked up on where she'd been going for some time and then just rocket shifted. But this reaches back. It's called No Complaints for Gwendolyn Brooks, 1917 to 2001. Maybe there's something about the 7th of June, when Prince and me. Or maybe people just have to be born at some time. And there are only 365 days or 366 every 4 years or so, meaning that some things happen at the same time in the same rising sign in the same houses in Gemini, but some of us might also consider the possibility of reincarnating, re-evolving, restructuring that spirit, reshaping that spirit, releasing that spirit, tucking the useless inside, and when the useless pushes out again, we restructure again, and poetry and song and praise song go on, because it is the right thing to do. We will always cry with a great heart, a good soul. One of the premier poets of her age restructures, reincarnates, revolves into a resolve that we all now carry in our hearts as all great women and men are alive, not by biology, but remembrance. And that's all right, as the old folks say. Because as long as they stay on the lips, they nestle in our hearts, and those souls which are planted continue growing until generations, not knowing their touch, their voice, or even the fact that some Chicago poets are terrible cooks, but also fun to eat with, will tell tales of having met someone who knew someone who watched a basketball game in which some Chicago poet cheered for Seattle at the request of some Virginia poet who wanted more games, while Mr. Blakely was amazed that a Chicago poet was even watching a game. Didn't we miss him as he slipped away watching baseball? What a way to go. Though he then did sort of know that once gone, he would call the woman he loved. And so we come to no more phone calls at 6 a.m. to chat. And no more Benny Ha when we're all in New York. And no more gossiping and questioning and trying to make sense of a senseless world. No more face-to-face, only the poetry which is a great monument from this Topeka daughter to the world. And yet, there can be no complaints in this passing. No sorrow songs. No if-onlys. There's all here. The work of love. The woman who gave and gave and gave. No complaints of too long or too hard. No injustice or accident or misunderstanding of disease. Just one great woman moving to the next phase. And us on the ground. In Alleluia. So, to share a piece of mine, I thought I would share the last part of an unfinishable, so it's not the last part. Body of work, maps. This is maps 10, a cartography in progress. And it's a series and it does a lot of things. And I chose this to read tonight because when I think about how important Nikki Giovanni's work has been to me since small, and the way she speaks of the truth, I just feel like right now, need all of that. So, none of soul. You are not yourself, anyway. When your uncle speaks on your behalf, wonder of friends, creatures of fiction, whose likes and dislikes are a blood relation. Large, secret, doubt. You were given birth to by notions formulated in heads. Yes. Question yourself. Question all those who meet you. Sit, drop, ponder, lie, exist, think. Yes, that's the word. That is not the heavens, unless you were not a child, breathing, just like anybody else. Leap to the tongue, the way blind eyes tend to. Numerous doorways, solid and prominent, are enabled through forests without any clearing. Cease to exist as beings. Prodigious imagination journeys to a region in the wake of the old man. There was a girl, a butcher. Stone depths too numerous to count in the wake of the old man, there was a girl, a butcher. In the wake of the old man, there was a girl, a butcher. In the wake of the old man, there was a girl, a butcher. In the wake of the old man, there was a girl, a butcher. Knowing what knives await of destiny await. Thank you.
How's everybody doing?
Good.
My husband always says I always ask that. It's a lot during the night. Our next feature is an incredibly accomplished poet, playwright, screenwriter, and director whose work continues to inspire and resonate with audiences everywhere. Daryl Alejandro Holness. Daryl is the author of Stepmotherland, which won an International Latino Book Award and the Andres Montoya Poetry Prize, as well as Migrant Psalms, winner of the Drinking Gourd Poetry Prize. His poetic achievements are matched by his accolades, including being the recipient of the National Endowment for the Arts Creative Writing Fellowship in Poetry and the C.P. Cavafy Poetry Prize. Daryl is also a recent nominee for Best of the Net and has been recognized as an award-winning playwright, screenwriter, and director, demonstrating his incredible versatility as a storyteller across mediums. Please join me in giving a warm welcome to Daryl Alejandro Holness.
Thank you, Emmanuel. When Manny messaged me about contributing to the reading tonight, I immediately said yes. And I was traveling, I don't even remember to or from where, but I was like, please give me some time to send you all the things, but there's no way that I would want to miss this opportunity. And Nikki Giovanni and I first met when I was a fellow in California, and she was on faculty. And I remember seeing her read for the first time, and I said to my friend Aisha Sharif, this is back in 2012, I said, "That's it." And Aisha was like, "What is it? What is it?" And I was like, "That is why I'm an artist. That is why I came to the United States. That is why I went to grad school. That is why I'm a storyteller. Everything that Nikki is doing in some way, shape, or form is why, right? And it's what I want to do." And when she passed away, it took me some time to share tribute online and do all of that because I was just blown away by the amount of people whose lives she touched. Every time I would log on, think about like, okay, today I'm gonna post some things, or, honoring her or whatever, I would just start crying as I would scroll through my feed and I would see the amount of people who she inspired, who she supported, and what a great life and what a tremendous legacy. So this is Beautiful Black Men. In parenthesis, it's with compliments and apologies to all not mentioned by name. I want to say, just gotta say something about those beautiful, beautiful, beautiful out-of-sight black men with the afros walking down the street is the same old danger, but a brand new pleasure. Sitting on stoops in bars, going to offices running numbers, watching for their hordes, preaching in churches, driving their hogs, walking their dogs, winking at me in their fire red, lime green, burnt orange, royal blue, tight, tight pants that hug what I like to hug. Jerry Butler, Wilson Pickett, The Impressions, Temptations, Mighty Mighty Sly. Don't have to do anything but walk on stage. And I scream and stamp and shout. See new breed men in breedalls, dashiki suits with shirts that match the lining that complements the ties. That smile at the sandals where dirty toes peek at. And I scream, and I stamp and shout for more beautiful, beautiful, beautiful Black men with out-of-sight afros. When I was in France this summer, I had the opportunity to get to know a few of the, I think I left my apologies. Greg has always got my back. I got to know some of the refugees in Marseille from North Africa, different countries, different parts, different communities. But they inspired me to write this poem, What Used to Be. They lie to their mothers, some do, and pay with rice, sneakers, or mobile phones. Others stow away, others fly, others run to fight their way into manhood. Across the desert, which used to be a rainforest, which used to be a tundra, which used to be a grassland, are footsteps of a father who used to be a daughter, who used to be a man, running from war or famine in what used to be their home, in what used to be their village, in what used to be their country. In the sea, which used to be an ocean, which used to be all frozen, which used to be dry land. Others swim like the Saccharitis or the Tiktaalik fish they used to be, but never quite returning to the sea. By now, everyone knows migrants die in the water. Most do. Drowning in a vision of blue hues as the largesse of this planet swallows them whole, wrapped in cobalt, navy, turquoise, and midnight, the colors of Neptune, of dart frogs, of butterflies. They die nameless to the tides. Names are such human things, after all. Sounds used to distinguish one's soul from another. The Greeks had no word for blue. The sea was as green to them as the leaves. Although what a beautiful thing to be human. Tahar, Kad, Zinedine, Safi, Riyad. Alphonse, Azuz, Nabil, Hakim, Fayyad. See? This one is older than Greek stories of Odysseus coming of age while sailing the Aegean, or of Egyptians telling of the Nile's underworld where Seth threw Osiris in a box. This is the one about going forth to make math before there were times tables, pounding our stories into the dirt and each other, before there were pile drivers or wrecking balls, multiplying many times across the earth. Until we were so many, some thought they had invented man. Until we were so many, they saw different species where there were just different clans. And words sprang up like Negroid, Sub-Saharan, Africa, and the Middle East. Words sprang up like Europa and master and slaughter and slavery and beast. And the world became one for conquest of people, of water, of land. Perhaps that's why preachers describe free paradise as being bad. I prefer pleasure. Not be a luxury, not be a privilege, not be a dream. And to swim from my grove into the bay in awe of the dead, of the drowned, of Maria, of Sarah. Wondering if on the news or in those history books, it could have been me or you in a raft, reaching for the future, stolen by people's past, desperately hanging onto a dinghy, determined to get it all back. I'm gonna read one last poem, and I left my other poems at the, no, but this is, I left them at the chair, but this one came up with me, and this is the one I had wanted to leave. So I think it wants to be read tonight, so I'll just read it quick. The future lives we find in Black literature. Who can read a name written in dirt? Over there, education is learning to spell yourself with someone else's history. Sweat and soot, oil and must, calcium and clay, landmarks and monuments, maps and names. When there is a big tree, small ones climb on its back to reach the sun. Achebe blooms in the cracks of the empire's mouth. He gathers our roots, the wooden cortexes of skin and cork-like suberin umbilical cords, to tie mango and valley to the earth. Where there is soil, there is always return, even when we are the authors of our own exile. Without community, there is no liberation. Lord knew this of the body. If Mexico can press Zami's skin into new shapes, make her a woman whose bones know the heat of escape, the cool lingua franca of trees. It is both new and native land. To name yourself in her novel is to be twice born, like when the body makes room for its desire, and the world shifts to let another pass through. Or when the heart heals itself after a fire, with macrophages, humming sounds and blue. In this country, we spell ourselves with the quiet of a hand against our ears. After all, what is power with the sound of rain falling on a city that cannot remember your name? After all, a river of downpour cuts through the land without asking, unheld, unyielding, untamed. Right taught me our power is in swimming. And although exile can be a kind of drowning, sometimes drowning is a survival. Let us Negroes be rivers, then let us carry the soil of every place we've called home in our mouths. For Morrison, exile is a love story. The island, a body, a mouth, a place where J. Dean's wants washes up like seashells. She knew the weight of salt, how it clung to our mouths even as we spoke in tongues foreign to our mothers' mothers. In Tar Baby, even love wears the shape of departure. To come back is to remake yourself in the image of a dirty memory, the earth a grain of vines and clay. This island, like kinky hair and humidity, pulls you in as easily as it lets you go. But what does it mean to belong to nothing but the sound of the waves against skin, when the sea carries us home in its mouth? Perhaps here, on the tongue of tides, I say we are always new in a body of work that remembers us whole. Not made new by erasure, but in the way art imitates the lives we want to live. After the divide and conquer, post-carnivore, post-racial, post-appetite, post-slaughter. Thank you to the fellow readers, thank you to the Publishing Triangle, thank you to the Center, thank you to Manny. Happy Black History Month.
Now we've come to our final feature for the evening. This is someone I've had the honor of sharing the stage with during the Dodge Poetry Festival, and someone who feels like family from our shared roots in the legendary New York Poets Cafe community. Oompa. Give it up. Oompa is a powerhouse, a queer poet, rapper, playwright, actor, and activist based out of Brooklyn, New York. Their work is as dynamic as it is impactful. Oompa has been a member of the Public Theater's Emerging Writers Group 2020 to 2023 cohort, the 2022 MAP grant recipient, a 2020 to 2021 BAM recipient, president, and a 2024 Nuyorican Poetry Slam member. They've also served as the artistic director at New York Writers Coalition, bringing their passion for storytelling and social justice to countless artists and communities. Please join me in giving a huge round of applause to Uga as they close out tonight with their poetry and a favorite work by Nikki Giovanni.
Hi y'all.
Hi.
This mic sounded great earlier, so I was like, I want this to be a moment to set myself. Hello.
Hi.
My name is Ungrateful Black Artist, but for short I go by Unguma. And I named that, my bio talks about the public theater, but I named myself Ungrateful Black Artist because of the public theater. So, we can get into a whole nother time. I don't know what to say before I jump into this. So Nikki Giovanni actually wasn't one of the, we all cling on to our particular artists, particular writers that, and it wasn't until very later that I got on to Nikki Giovanni and I was like, Maya Angelou, that was, but I feel so fortunate you're fortunate whenever you get a chance to meet her work, right? So I met it when I needed to, and didn't get the opportunity to meet her, but I performed at the Dodge Poetry Festival, which was her final, one of her final performances. But I didn't meet her, and we had the same bill, but I guess she was in different rooms, I don't know. But I just believe that her energy at least was swept over to my side, so I'm thankful for that. I'm gonna read. Oh, so before I read, this is a party, okay? And it is cold, the air is on, I do not understand why. I'm just saying it's winter. But it's cold, but this is still a party. And the piece that I wrote for this is party-esque. So I'm gonna start off, there's some crowd participation, but outside of the crowd participation, I just want you to be eager to find times to jump in, because I'm not gonna be able to explain every part of it right now, but just it's intuitive and it's if you have an eagerness to jump in, you'll know when to join. But as to give us a setup, when I say, and may the artists all rise, I want you to say it after me, all right? And may the artists all rise.
And may the artists all rise.
May the artists all rise.
May the artists all rise.
All right, we're gonna come back to that. But when you say it, I want you to say you really actually mean that. Okay? But we're gonna start with it. A Journey by Nikki Giovanni. It's a journey that I propose. I am not the guide, nor technical assistant. I will be your fellow passenger. Though the rail has been ridden, winter clouds cover autumn's exuberant guilt, we must provide our own guideposts. I've heard from previous visitors, the road washes out sometimes, and passengers are compelled to continue groping or turn back. I am not afraid. I am not afraid of rough spots or lonely times. I don't fear the success of this endeavor. I am raw in a space not to be discovered but invented. I promise you nothing. I accept your promise of the same. We are simply riding a wave that may carry or crash. I promise you nothing. I accept your promise of the same. We're simply riding a wave that may carry or crash. It's the journey, and I want to go. And may the artists all rise.
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 There is a dinner party for the niggas that wrote some shit and died after it. In the back, bludgeoning the banana bread next to the Mac on the top rack of the stove. Still I rise, Tony chuckles. As Maya shushes her while shucking something and talking spicy to Lorraine Hansberry. Langston on his way. He light-skinned, so he late just to be late. X is bringing the red Kool-Aid to match the magic blood in his veins. And Ida B. Wells, well, she just taking notes in the corner. There is a dinner party for the niggas that wrote some shit and died after it. Lucille Clifton is on the greens. She's stirring with the same hand she wrote, "Won't you celebrate with me?" So you know them are some tender leaves. And you know Brother Baldwin is foaming at the edge of the pot, trying to get a little preview of what she got, but her philosophy for poetry is her same philosophy for cooking. You only get it when it's ready. So my homegirl, Tanya Ingram, smooth pulls up behind him, taps his shoulder and giggles, "Sorry, Jimmy, maybe the fire next time." And everybody laughs at the dinner party for the niggas that wrote some shit and died after it. And may the artists all rise.
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 At least that's the hope that got Vanessa clinking her glass like that. I don't know her last name, but she once wrote a text message to her 16-year-old son, Zaya, that made him no longer want to die by suicide. And this is a dinner party for the niggas that wrote some important shit. So naturally she here, a little white wine drunk, tapping the fine china with a spoon because she fixing to give a speech. Yes, a speech. Again. And Auntie Octavia ain't no better. Cackling crumbs into her lap napkin, talking some, "Go ahead, girl." Vanessa and Miss Butler became fast friends at the last gathering. When they realized the first thing they both did when they made it to the other side was ask, "Where all the aliens at?" And they've been good Judies ever since. There is a dinner party for the niggas that wrote some shit, for the niggas that saved a few lives with their pens, for the niggas who died but left a portal open. My OG Mums is here. Got his fitted cot to the side, sandwiched between Biggie and Pac, asking them where their notebooks are, as is the homie Gabron Thomas. Still shook from the transition, but loves the way Gwendolyn Brooks' voice echoes through his window when she's excited on her porch. And may the artists all rise.
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 What else are we to do when one of us dies? Who better to write for the writer than the writer? Who better to dance for the dancer than the dancer? Who better to sing for the singer than the singer? Who better to act for the actor than the actor? Who better to sculpt for the sculptor than the sculptor? Y'all getting it? Who better to paint for the painter
than the painter?
Who better to graphic design for the graphic designer? When an artist dies, we're supposed to make it thump. This is how we honor the space they've given us. This is how an artist grieves, which reminds me, this is a dinner party. Matter of fact, this is a party right here for all the niggas who died, who wrote some shit and died after it. And may the artists all rise.
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 Girl, Mel Hurston, I see you. Looking all anthropological. Bodies from Mexico City, velvet for Venezuela. Okay, Mr. August Wilson. Move that body like a snake, ma. Wow. W.E.B. Not you moonwalking with the penny loafers. Dance and joiner. Can't nobody Dougie like you. Truth. Okay. It's Zaki Sean Gay. Hold up. Bell hooks only comes out when they playing Shook Ones. She's a real one. Oh my God. My mentor Itra is here too. Look at you moving them damn shoulders. You always swore you can cut a rug. You right. Aziza Barnes, I see you. I see you. And at last, the time we've all been waiting for. Her arrival. Harriet Jacobs told her that she was sent to pick her up from her long trip. She apologized that it took her a while to learn how to drive and she's still getting used to it. The plan, she told her, was to stop by her house real quick before heading over to kick it with Jesus for a bit. And Nikki, she was cool with it. One of the coolest customers you'll come by, kid. She ain't suspect a thing. She ain't been dead long enough to know niggas still lie in the afterlife. Oh shit. I just got a text from Harry. They'll be here any minute. Shh. On the count of 3, we scream, surprise. Oh shit, you hear that? 1, 2, 3.
Surprise!
And may the artists all rise.
And may the artists all rise.
Artists all rise.
And may the artists all rise.
Welcome, beloved Nikki Giovanni, to the party for all the niggas who wrote some shit and died after it. We have been waiting for you. We have been singing your praises through your wake. Welcome, beloved Nikki Giovanni. We hear your words and believe them. We hear your words and need them. We thank you. We thank you. This is your party, Nikki. This is your party, Nikki. Hold up. Cut off the end, cause here we go again. We ego trippin', we ego trippin'. Cut off the end, cause here we go again. We ego trippin', we ego trippin'. Cut off the end, cause here we go again. We ego trippin', we ego trippin'. Said cut off the end, cause here we go again. We ego trippin', we ego trippin'. I'm tripping on my ego, tripping at the free throw. Lost in the sauce, Nikki guide the people, Nikki guide the people. Nikki guide the people, Nikki got the people, Nikki got the people. Cut off the end, cause here we go again. We ego trippin', we ego trippin'. Said cut off the end, cause here we go again. We ego trippin', we ego trippin'. Said cut off the end, cause here we go again. We ego trippin', we ego trippin'. Said cut off the end, cause here we go again. We ego trippin', we ego trippin'. I'm tripping on my ego, tripping at the free throw, lost in the sauce. Nikki guide the people, Nikki guide the people, Nikki guide the people, Nikki got the people, Nikki got the people. I'm looking for a way, for a route, for an out. I'm looking for a key, for a roof, for a house. Do you hear me right now? Do you hear me right now? Am I coming through loud? Am I coming through loud? I'm tripping on my ego, tripping at the free throw, lost in the sauce. Nikki guide the people, Nikki guide the people, Nikki guide the people, Nikki guide the people, Nikki guide the
Quilts. Like a fading piece of cloth, I am a failure. No longer do I cover tables filled with food and laughter. My seams are frayed, my limbs falling, my strength no longer able to hold the hot and cold. I wish for those first days, when just woven, I could keep water from seeping through, repel stains with the tightness of my weave, dazzle the sunlight with my reflection. I grow old, though pleased with my memories. The tasks I can no longer complete are balanced by the love of the task gone past. I offer no apology, only this plea. When I am frayed and strained and drizzle at the end, please someone, cut a square and put me in a quilt that I might keep some child warm. And some old person with no one else to talk to will hear my whispers and cuddle near. I'm Nikki Giovanni. The reason I love quilts so much is that I am old, and I do hope that I can warm some old person or delight some young person. Life has changed, my life has changed, and the life around me has changed. I hope I've done a good job, but if I haven't, I hope someone cuts a little corner and says she was here, she tried.
Thank you all for being tonight, whether you joined us live or virtually to celebrate the incredible Nikki Giovanni. It's been such a joy to share this special evening of storytelling in the community with all of you. Nikki, we miss you deeply and will always love you. Your words, your spirit, and your legacy continue to guide and inspire us every day. Before we close, I want to remind everyone to stop by the back to pick up some books, whether it's the collected poetry of Nikki Giovanni or works from tonight's featured readers. Let's continue to support these voices and share them widely. I also encourage you to keep supporting the Publishing Triangle, the Bureau of General Services Queer Division, the LGBT Community Center, the New Eureka Poets Cafe, our drag community, and queer poets everywhere. These spaces and artists need us now more than ever, and together we can ensure that their work and voices thrive. Thank you again for joining us tonight. Have a wonderful evening. And before the poets leave, please come up so we can all take a picture together. Thank you again. Samia.
Wandering eyes, ready? Stay there, 1, 2, 3.
What's up after that?
You know, some of us get holding their stomachs in for so long.
Yeah, hold on. 1, 2, 3, stay there. Gorgeous, you are, thank you.
Live stream's done, right? Yeah. Okay. Yeah, we're good.